This video will demonstrate how to use phase lists in Motivity. If you recall, there are 4 types of phases: track, assess, train, and maintain. In this program, we have set up, this is a behavior reduction program, so we have used only one phase here, which is the track phase. The track phase is typically used to track behavior. You can add a phase by clicking the plus phase to make a phase list. I'm going to show you some examples of how you can use phase lists to make custom workflows. The target can go through phases linearly, one after another, or the targets can jump in and out of phases. Let me show you some examples. All right, this program has 4 phases. It has one assess phase, where a custom assess phase is baseline probe. Then it moves to train. Then it moves to maintain 1 time a week and maintain 2 times a week. Let's look at what this one looks like. So in the program builder, under each target has these phases, and you can open up each phase and then change parameters per phase. This is another example of a program that moves linearly across phases. Okay, let's look at another program, coloring in the lines. These targets have just 2 phases, a baseline phase and a train phase. Let's look at what that looks like in the program builder. This one has been created using a uniform target list. So here are the lists of targets, and then underneath the list of targets are the phases, and you can see that there's 2 phases, baseline and train. You can open up each of those phases to look at the configuration. Okay, and when you look at a graph of this, that was already known. Let's look at a graph of this one. You can see that baseline probe was done, and then it transitioned into the train or teaching phase here. Okay, let's look at another program. A component analysis is an example of a program that moves across phases quickly within a session. So look, you can see self-gagging moved across 4 different conditions. In this case, the person that built the program used the phases as condition lines. So if we look at that graph, we can see that within a session, they can move in and out of conditions using the phase list. Let's look at an example of that. Component analysis, we look at self-gagging, and then we can see the phases were created here, and there were custom track phases. And there were 4 of them created to create different conditions. And this one probably transitions manually because it's across each session. There's multiple transitions within a session. Okay, let's look at another example. Daily living skills. This has targets are set up in a task analysis. So there's just one phase, which is train. And let's go ahead and look at what that looks like. So there's a task analysis for all of these daily living skills. If we click on hand washing, we can see in phases there's just one phase. We can add other phases if needed, but this one's just one phase is needed. And if you open up that phase, you can see the configuration for task analysis in here. Okay, so that's just a few ways to use phase lists. One more example, this one's more advanced, is a functional analysis phase list. You can, again, you can use your phases as condition lines here. So you can create conditions for each of the functions. And let's look at how that's built in the program builder. Functional analysis, you can create your custom phases. These are custom assess phases. And then you would configure each phase as needed for that target. And these phases would be manually transitioned. So you would work in the attention condition, and then when you're done, you would manually transition to the next phase. Now it's in the escape condition. All right, just a few examples of how to use phase lists to customize your target workflows.